You've cleaned up your diet, you've been training, and you've even lost some body fat, but your love handles are still there and they're mocking you every single time you look in the mirror or you put on a t-shirt. Most skinny fat guys ask this question to me all the time. Why won't my love handles go away? Is there something wrong with me? And I promise you there's nothing wrong with you, but it's because you're using a generic fat loss plan to target a very specific fat loss storage issue. In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process to finally get rid of love handles as a skinny fat guy. I'm going to simplify it, structure it, and add no random BS information that a lot of other videos do. So let's get straight into it. It's a bit of a weird analogy, but you need to think of your body like a big block of ice, and your love handles are the corners of the block of ice. So if it's melting, if you've got a flame to the ice cube, then the corners are going to melt last, and that's the exact same thing with your love handles. They're going to be the last to go out of all of the fat. So if you're trying to spot reduce fat with side crunches and fat burners, you're basically rubbing the corner of an ice cube, hoping it melts faster while completely ignoring the main heat source. So if you want to finally get rid of love handles, you've got to turn up the heat on the entire block. And that's exactly what we're going to do with step one. Step one is to be in a sustainable calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're not going to lose your love handles. It's as simple as that. But here's where most guys mess up. They go too aggressive, they burn out, they binge, and then they repeat over and over again. And I know this because I've done it myself. And I've also done this other mistake, which is where you think you're eating clean, but you're not actually tracking your calories. So for all you know, you could be at maintenance or even in a surplus, and then you're wondering why I'm not losing any body fat or your scale weight's not going down. Well, it's actually because you're not in a deficit. So like I've already alluded to, you want to be in a modest calorie deficit. And that means to be in a minimum of 500 calorie deficit a day. And you can do that obviously through nutrition, or you can do that through cardio or increasing your steps, or however you want to do that. And the trick to this is to eat high protein, simple meals with foods that keep you full. And you don't want to starve yourself and eat like a rabbit, because I don't know why people go through that philosophy, but just eat what you like, but just make sure you're tracking your calories and you're in the deficit. You want to think of a calorie deficit like using a steady flame to melt the ice, rather than just coming at it with like a massive flamethrower and trying to blast the ice cube. Obviously, it's just majorly overkill and not needed at all. And if you don't know how big your deficit should be, or whether you should be cutting, recomping, or lean bulking straight away to fix skinny fat and fix love handles, then I've got a free AI skinny fat fixer. The link's in the description, so check that out. Step two is to train like you're building muscle, even when you're in a calorie deficit. And this is one that most skinny fat guys fall into. It's a massive trap, because they think that they need to shrink their way into becoming lean, which is just not a good idea. They think they need to do more cardio, eat less, and actually put less effort into the gym. And then they wonder why they look small and they still have this excess fat on top, which creates the love handles, which you obviously don't want. The fix to this is to actually train like you're building muscle. And this means to follow the principles of training, such as train to failure every single set, progressively overloading every single set, and just training with the heaviest weights that you can, obviously within the rep range that you're aiming for. You're not trying to burn the handles off your body, you're trying to reshape your body. So when the fat melts, something impressive is underneath. So eventually when you finish cutting, you'll actually look good, rather than losing muscle and fat whilst in the deficit, which then makes you just look skinny fat again, which is not what we want. Which leads me on to step three, which is illusion through muscle. This is a trick that most guys never think of, and it's that you can actually build the illusion of a smaller waist by training your lats and your V-taper. So suddenly your waist is going to look less blocky and your love handles are going to look less prominent before you're even that lean. You want to think of this like tailoring a suit. You're not just trimming the fabric, you're reshaping it to fit your frame. So when you build the right areas, the proportions are actually going to shift and your waist is going to appear smaller without actually losing any fat or being in a prolonged calorie deficit. So if you want your physique to actually look sharper and the appearance of a smaller waist, just simply train your back and shoulders, and in t-shirts and things like that, your love handles are going to look less prominent. And if you're not sure on what muscles to target or how to set up your training to fix skinny fat, then again, use the free AI skinny fat fixer. Step four is that consistency beats complexity. So you don't need a new workout every week. You don't need to try and find the perfect diet or try and find the perfect workout plan, training split, exercise, you name it. You don't need the perfect random supplement. What you need to do is that you need to just perfect being very boring and staying as consistent as you can be. You need to think about slowly melting that ice cube day after day after day after day after day on repeat until eventually your love handles are gone. You need to think of focusing on delayed gratification rather than just being sad that you look in the mirror and your love handles are still there. As long as you're putting in the right inputs, you're going to get to where you want to be. Which leads me on to step 5, which is that you need to accept that love handles are going to be the last thing to go in a fat loss phase. So love handles are actually the final bit of fat that your body's going to hold on to, which is why it's such a common problem in men, is that you need to be ridiculously lean to actually get rid of them for good. Because if you think about it, love handles is basically just lower abdomen fat. And what's in your lower abdomen? Like, you've got loads of key organs there, so obviously your body's going to store loads of fat. It's almost like a protective mechanism. So it doesn't mean that your plan's not working, it just means that you need to get to that final phase of fat loss. So stop changing strategies because you think something's off. You probably just haven't dieted for long enough. You need to instead just focus on taking progress pics every week, so you can actually see if you're losing body fat. You need to obviously track your body weight, and you need to look at your strength numbers in the gym, because if they're going down, then you're probably losing muscle, which eventually at the end of your fat loss phase, you're probably not going to have the recomposition of your body that you probably wanted. Then you also need to just focus on how your clothes are fitting, and not just looking at yourself in the mirror every single day and just losing motivation from that. And again, if you want to know how far you have to go to fix skinny fat, then the free AI skinny fat fixer is in the description below. Losing love handles is only one step of fixing skinny fat. The real challenge is, once you fix skinny fat and you've lost those love handles, how are you going to keep your results forever? How do you stay lean without rebounding, binging, or even burning out? In this next video, I'll show you how to fix skinny fat and stay lean forever without being a hyper-obsessed gym cell or without starving yourself. If you're serious about keeping your results long term, then I highly recommend watching this video. It's the key to making all of your gains last.